blocked in.
Okay, if we see the art come through, right, then that's a very different dynamic as they just enjoy some dinner right now.
Well, I'm just saying, like, there's a Soraka being hovered. I was about to say, you could just, like, look away, play with just the one hand hitting auto attack, and you'll have yourself a good day. Instead, though, it is going to be that Nami once more, but it's the Akali once again from that top lane that is, again, very scary.
Well fed in and out of game. The Akali is also going to be a big problem for Inspiring. I don't think they've really come up with a good plan to deal with it just yet. Wait, have they gone for the Zed?
Okay. So are we seeing a top lane Zed come out? Are we seeing a lane swap here? That's my wonder here. Are we actually going to see Jess go up and toward that top lane and try and go for that 1v1 up against the Akali?
Zed versus Akali is actually a pretty decent matchup for the Zed because you can still land a lot of his spells on the Akali even while she's in the Shroud, even while
she's possibly backfires here, and at that point, does that take all hope out the window? We'll have to see, but nonetheless, we're getting ourselves into game. Final pick 2, we didn't get to see it. It's actually going to be that Orianna once again here for Team Volley. We saw it a little bit during the semifinals, and I'm genuinely interested. What are we going to be seeing as far as lane assignments? It looks like, are we just seeing an Ari up in that top lane and they're just going to play it like that?
Okay, I'm a lot happier with Ari in the top lane. It does seem a little bit strange, a little bit suspect going against this Akali, but you have generally good wave clear, which is going to at least allow you to be able to keep the Akali back. Okay, Go is in for the EXP. I can respect that. Right, you never want to be behind EXP. I'm not sure the value of Flash for the creep there, but I'm gonna go for it.
Hey, you got to take those risks. You got to. Like we said, you can't give Volley a single step. All right, you just got to hold the ground here. That seems to be the play. But again, that early harass coming out. Level 2 finally hit here for Jess, so is able to actually get a combo out, but unfortunately is starting to lose a little bit out when it comes into the matchup. We'll keep tabs of it, but here we go. You know what time it is. It's 1 minute on the clock. Do we start to see the invade? We already see that ward actually being put down on the red buff, so looks like it's just a buff to see whether or not they're going to be able to brush that down, but I already see that Orianna looking to hug toward the bot side of the map, but no, they're actually not going to go for the invade.
Yeah, actually turning things around. They're going to go for something a little bit different. That being said, Musong is abusing Jess in the mid lane right now. I think Jess has had a slightly too easy time against Orianna so far. He's a little bit unsure of exactly what they're capable of. And interesting thing to know as well, he started his 3rd spell, his shield, level 1 against the Zed, so he could walk up and look for more aggressive trades. And this is panning out very well for him right now. Actually goes for the invade. But like you said, goes for the Raptors, goes for the player, and looks for the Amumu kill. Isn't able to find it, but still, good invade.
They're still sticking around. You take a look at that mini-map, they still have vision of that Amumu, so they do know where they are. Jess, unfortunately, getting poked out so hard in lane pretty much makes it so it's impossible to try and go for a possible play there, and even Musong actually wanted to try and go for a kill, maybe got a little bit too aggressive, but doesn't get taken down. But there you go, back into this jungle domination, it seems, here from the side of Volley, as that's again another scuttle secured, and both scuttles are actually picked up here. That's a nice chunk of gold and experience.
Yeah, you can see that Lee Sin is actually moving very far ahead in terms of EXP. In fact, more EXP than the Ahri is in lane. So that gives you a pretty good idea of what we're kind of seeing right now. And once the Dragon's Rage is available, the Amumu starts becoming a lot weaker, isn't going to be able to find a lot of the same opportunities they were going to be able to find otherwise. Laners starting to hit the level 5 mark now, should be seeing a little bit of action, a little aggressiveness come through with this ultimate available.
Ulti's available, and oh, there you go. Q comes out. Ultimate use just for the reposition. Actually does get the charm actually underneath tower, and that's some decent damage. Gaming going a little bit too aggressive into the crowd. In comes the Lee Sin underneath tower. Lands the Q. Going for the kill. Gets the kick. The smite is there, but the turret will trade 1 for 1. So it's not the end of the world there, but you do see that aggression toward the top side of the map. This time, when that squishy Ahri's picked up, they say, all right, if you want to go for this, we're going to camp you.
Still going to be able to crash the wave into the turret. So this means that Inspire is going to be losing out some gold, going to be looking at losing out some EXP. VY definitely not going to be all too happy about that. It gets at least a return kill, so it's not the end of the world. But at least losing that much is going to be a bit painful for him. Just still trying to hold on into the mid lane right now. The Zed versus the Orianna matchup is a little bit difficult for the Zed up until he gets the items that he needs. But now with the Ghost Blade and maybe even the Dust Blade available, should be able to start killing the Orianna with a little bit of support. Might be difficult to do it outright, to just try and one-shot the Orianna, but maybe with 1 or 2 combos to lower her health first could start doing that. And once the Orianna is under this kill threat, they could start rotating down bot side. Because frankly, I think holding onto the mid lane and trying to just keep shoving in the wave isn't going to work out this game.
Yeah, you can see already that aggression already starting to seep through when it comes to the Zakali. Again, push in the wave, goes for a quick roam, get some vision down. But it's kind of similar to what we saw during the game here for Inspire, where they were kind of patient during their semifinal. But again, this bit you mentioned, hey, for the Zed, it can be a rush matchup. It's starting to look really rough in this mid lane.
Just losing out in gold, losing out in EXP, not able to last hit. I mean, you still have some of the residual gold, but it's painful to not be able to pick up much more. And meanwhile, Dragon is up. It's going to be an Ocean Drake. Could be a nice little addition, or it could just be a means to get rolling towards the next Dragon. I do want to say that I see a lot more priority around the Rift Herald instead, though. This Dragon play could be a bit of a bait if they go for it and the Amumu is nearby and ready to try and stop this. If they could go for the Rift Herald instead, I would say that's the safer play, but still going to start it up.
Yeah, you still got 45 seconds actually on that Rift Herald. We do see, though, Jess considering going for the roam, but they do have good vision being laid down here. That was put down only about a minute ago from the Orianna. That's a flash forward, though, coming out from the Mumu. Bandage Tosh is not going to connect. Jess, though, is going to get the ultimate, able to dodge away from the Sonic Wave. And there you go. It's actually a trade back here as they're able to find the 1 kill. Jess able to take it down and also avoid the Shockwave. So no Shockwave being available. This should be Indonesia able to find the fight, but in comes the Akali over the side of the wall. Just has to force the flash out over as well. It's the double kill, and they're going to keep on going. And just like that, you thought you were safe. You thought you had nothing to worry about, but Volley strikes again.
Opal, I have to admit, the second I heard you say the Akali comes in as well, I just knew what was going to happen. My jaw dropped. I watched that fight play out like a picture-perfect movie for Volley there, because we called it out. We said that Dragon might be a little bit too ambitious. It's aggressive going for this way. You don't have an idea where the Amumu is, but the Akali is there, comes in for the cleanup. They pick up the Dragon. It honestly plays out so well for Volley, despite what felt like perhaps a bit of an overreaching move. Now they go for the Rift Herald, and I don't think you have any way to stop this because Ultimate's coming back available on the side of Volley, whereas with Inspired, they don't have those big ultimates just yet. The cooldowns on those are so long, especially on the likes of the Amumu, especially on the likes of the Zed, where they have to kind of wait it out until they get some cooldown resistance before they're able to look for these big plays.
And you see here, it's just the steals coming on in. Unfortunately, this poor Mumu. There is going to be a collapse, though, coming out as that Ari's nearby. The Lee Sin able to get over to safety. Jesco gets in onto the death mark and is able to find the kill. In comes the Akali, but still not able to land that shuriken.
Nice
and
collapse.
again, it's one of these situations where Volley goes for that big invade onto a buff on spawn. But they are starting to get caught out, but they just don't get punished for it.
It's honestly crazy how aggressive Volley have been able to play, go deep into the enemy jungle, steal away these buffs, and hold on for so long, and barely lose out anything for it, right? They may have lost the Lee Sin, but it's quite a small loss to be made for how aggressive of a play they were making. As the game progresses, we also saw this in the previous game, they go for these aggressive moves, and they snowball off of that. You know, it might seem a little bit difficult or a little bit strange to begin with, but as the game progresses, these aggressive plays ultimately start to pan out in the favor of Volley, whereas on the Inspire side, they have to start allocating the manpower into the lanes to really shove it out well, because frankly, the Ahri going up against the Akali is not going the way they probably would have expected. Ahri is supposed to have a pretty decent time just shoving out the wave, whereas what we're seeing for VY right now, constantly forced under his turret. You know, he doesn't have that much he can do. The Rift Herald coming through right now is just going to exacerbate that problem.
And you see there, Rift Herald pop down on toward the top lane, which of course, actually that's going to be your Baron side of the map. Meanwhile, bot lane almost getting hooked there. You see Misty and crew having some difficulty, but there you go. Shelly's popped, and it's just going to get escorted here to the second tower. This poor Ahri, I don't think you can stick around for too long because I feel like you're just going to get dove possibly. But there you go. tower shard's going to go on, gets themselves some extra gold, and again, it's just a massive funnel into this Akali.
Yeah, no information where the Z is, no information on where the Amumu is, means that Volley are still going to have a little bit of respect, keep things going pretty slow, keeping them steady, not going to go for the dive just yet. Whereas if you look on the other side, on Inspire, they have to still deal with a number of these threats coming through because the Akali and the Lee Sin outright win a 2v2 matchup. You're not going to be able to go Ari and Amumu into Akali and Lee Sin. So now you have to bring in a third member. And if you bring in just from the mid lane, then that takes away a lot of his strength in the mid, where he's going to be able to keep pushing, where he's going to be able to try and control the wave, where he's also being held down.
That's a little unfortunate there. It did look like they at least tried to trade back a kill, but in the end, it's going to be a nice little takedown. Not maybe the optimal play here. Trying to get my footing, whether that was in the past or the future. I don't know where we are right now.
Past. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, no. Okay. No, that was in the future, apparently. There's your engage onto the Nami. I was wondering where this was, and there you go. They trade 1 for 1. The Jinx, though, able to get 1 kill. Looking for a second, forces out the flash out of the Blitzcrank.
Now we see a bit of a repeat. They're going over to try and harass for the blue buff. Once again, Dylan's still going to be... looks like it actually got stolen away. Do they have the blue buff?
No, I don't see blue buff on either one. Oh, no, that's unfortunate. You did see, though, Shockwave being used, fishing for Jess. Meanwhile, the dragon was also taken by the Lee Sin, and this is one of those situations, once again, with Volley, where the kill count, it's still only 5-5, but the amount of objective control, lane control coming out from this team, and siphoning gold from the jungle, this gold lead is much more than probably what you're expecting, especially when the game's this close, especially when the Lee Sin has 2 levels over this poor Mumu.
Right, I mean, you might be even in kills right now, and that, of course, was just broken, but you might be even in kills, but honestly, the disparity in terms of gold, in terms of in terms of the levels, is massive, and you have all these additional effects coming in from the likes of the Rift Herald, from the dragons, right? Having stacked 2 dragons already, and now they're continuing to pick up these turrets. Whereas on the side of Inspire, they've barely been able to find good damage onto 1. They haven't even been able to take down the first turret over in the Baron lane side. They got good damage onto it, but it's not down just yet.
Meanwhile, second tier tower is going to be completed now by the Akali, so there you go. More gold. I keep seeing little glimpses of the scoreboard, and I just want to see, but unfortunately, I don't think it spells out too well here for Inspire, as, again, it's right around this 9 to 10 minute mark where Volley just picks up the pace and they do not slow down. You even see Musong looking for a possible shockwave fish there, keeps on putting it, actually pulls the trigger. I don't think they actually caught out the Ahri. We'll see here in just a quick sec. Not the case, actually, able to avoid it, but still that pressure looming from Volley.
Difficult situation for Inspire. They're going to have to try and deal with this the big threat of the Orianna alongside the Akali. And the fact that we're seeing Amumu getting chunked out that much off of those few hits is starting to become a little bit problematic.
At this point, this is a common thing we're starting to see where this poor team is just stuck in their base and they're not able to leave. It's going to get to this point where, again, the gold just kind of gets siphoned out via the jungle camps. You look at the map right now. What is there for the side of Inspire to take? They can't really push forward. They're going to try for this blue buff, but again, rather risky once this mid lane gets pushed out once more here by Misty. And they can just, again, group up for a possible Baron play.
Yeah, blue buff wasn't even up, by the way. Now that it's up, we immediately see Volley walking back in, looking to try and contest for this. Amumu is nearby as well, so they have kind of vision. They have some kind of vision. They have a little bit of information where they are. They can try and flank them off, taking the jungle once again, denying Amumu from any golden EXP here.
You saw there. Unfortunately, looks like the 1v1 up in top lane, just trying to avoid the damage. It's not going to happen, though, and that 1v1 goes in favor of the Orianna. It's also now going to be Baron started up here on the side of Volley, and they can always backtrack. Let's see, does Dylan try and find that miracle play like we saw during the semifinal? It's one Mumu against the world. Unfortunately, the world strikes back here as Misty onto that Baron, going pretty low with the Jinx. But there you go, Baron buff secured on the side of Volley as they can now look to close out game 2 and take this match to match point.
Not even 15 minutes yet, and they're already looking to try and end things off. Musong the entire time was able to keep split pushing, was able to bring the wave and corral it up to the top side. Great shockwave coming through, lands onto the big 2 carries on the side. Inspire takes down one and sends the other running back to base.
There you go. It's 3 waves, 3 lanes being pushed in at the same time. And the collapse of the base of Inspire is imminent at this point, as unfortunately there's nowhere left to run. You're only on the fountain. Hooks come out, but there you go. First tower goes down, second one in mid, third one on the bot side of the map will follow, and things are looking dire. Final stand here. Does Inspire find the possible play? Shockwave lands onto 3 members into that back line. There's your wombo combo. And unfortunately for Inspire, the base is slowly going to get taken down. They do take down the Jinx, but the Nexus falls. Now a 2-0 lead here for Team Volley.